Roger Moore's daughter finally confirms what we've suspected all along. If you're a fan of classic James Bond films, you surely know Roger Moore, the iconic actor who embodied James Bond like no other. With a career spanning decades and a unique charm that made him beloved by audiences worldwide, Moore's journey remains cloaked in mystery. "You have that nasty habit of surviving," someone once said to him. "You know what they say about the fittest, Mr. Bond." But shortly after his death, his daughter made some revelations that shed light on some of the hidden truths about the legendary actor. What secret might he have kept hidden from the public? Join us in today's video as we uncover the lesser-known story of Roger Moore, revealed by his daughter. The beginning. Born on October 14, 1927, in Stockwell, London, Roger was the only child of George Alfred Moore and Lillian Lil Pope. His father was a policeman at Bow Street in London, while his mother was a homemaker. Growing up in Stockwell gave Roger a front-row seat to the bustling life of the city, undoubtedly influencing his future endeavors. He attended Battersea Grammar School, where he received an education that laid the foundation for his intellectual curiosity and versatility. However, his schooling was not without interruption. Like thousands of other school-age children, Roger was evacuated from London during World War II in a heroic effort known as Operation Pied Piper. This measure aimed to protect children from the looming threat of German bombings. He was sent to Holsworthy in Devon, a period he would later remember fondly. He spent several months in Cornwall, enrolling at Launceston College at age 13, then later at Dr. Challoner's Grammar School. Separated from his parents and familiar environment, Roger Moore had to adapt to a new life in the countryside. This period of isolation and resilience forged in him an unshakable spirit of determination. While dealing with the challenge of evacuation, Moore fed his vivid imagination through literature, films, and local theatrical productions, a passion that would shape his future career. However, as the bombing threat lessened, Moore returned to London to continue his studies at the College of the Venerable Bede. His educational path took an unexpected turn when, at the age of 15, he decided to leave school and pursue a career in animation and cinema. He landed a job as a tracer and office boy at Publicity Picture Productions, a renowned animation and film studio. Moore's enthusiasm for the job was evident, but unfortunately, a mistake involving a few animation cells led to his dismissal. This experience left Moore questioning his future and contemplating the uncertain road ahead. As a teenager, Moore and some friends decided to try their luck as extras in the film Caesar and Cleopatra, starring the renowned actors Vivien Leigh and Claude Rains. To his delight, Moore landed the role of a Roman legionary. He had no idea this experience would introduce him to Brian Desmond Hurst, the film's associate director, who would later become a close friend. A few years later, Moore had another chance to collaborate with Hurst, accepting a small role in the 1949 film Trot Tie True, where he acted alongside a young Christopher Lee, who would go on to become a prominent British cinema star. In 1944, Brian Desmond Hurst, now a mentor and close friend, proposed an idea that would forever change the course of Moore's life, that he attend the prestigious Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, RADA, a renowned institution known for training some of the world's most accomplished actors. Moore seized this opportunity and poured his heart and soul into his audition. His hard work paid off. He was accepted into the program, becoming one of the lucky few to receive such an honor. But the story doesn't end there. Aware of Moore's financial struggles, Hurst generously helped cover Moore's tuition for 3 terms at RADA, an act of kindness that allowed a young Moore to chase his dreams of becoming an actor. Moore went on to train at RADA alongside some of the most promising talents of his generation. One of his classmates was none other than Lois Maxwell, who would later become famous for playing Miss Moneypenny in the James Bond series. This close relationship with Maxwell would prove fortunate for Moore later on. When he was preparing to audition for the role of James Bond in Live and Let Die, it was Maxwell who suggested he wear a safari suit for the audition. The outfit was a hit with the producers, and Moore landed the leading role, catapulting him to global fame. After completing his theater program at RADA, Moore's life took an unexpected turn. Just as he was about to launch his acting career, he was drafted for national service. In September 1946, at the young age of 18, Moore was commissioned into the Royal Army Service Corps as a second lieutenant. The sudden shift from the stage lights to the rigid discipline of the Army was undoubtedly a drastic change for the young actor. Despite the demanding nature of military life, Moore didn't let go of his dreams. By a twist of fate, during his service in the Royal Army Service Corps, he met and fell in love with Dorn Van Stein, who happened to be his classmate at RADA. That same year, he decided to marry her, bringing a ray of joy amidst the challenges and uncertainty in his life. For 3 years, Moore dedicated himself to his military service. However, fate seemed to have something special in store for him once again. Recognizing his talent and passion for performance, the Army assigned Moore to the Combined Services Entertainment section, where he could put his acting skills to use. He quickly rose through the ranks, eventually reaching the rank of captain. He was then put in charge of a small depot in West Germany, where he was responsible for the welfare and entertainment of the armed forces passing through Hamburg. After completing his military service in 1949, Moore was ready to pursue his acting career with renewed determination and the maturity that came from military experience. But breaking into the film industry wasn't easy. He joined a repertory theater where he showcased his talents and honed his stage skills. However, the pay was meager, and Moore had to look for additional income sources to make ends meet. Fortunately, Moore found an unexpected way to supplement his income: modeling. He soon became a familiar face in the fashion world, gracing the pages of catalogs featuring the latest knitwear styles. These photo shoots not only allowed Moore to show off his natural charm and good looks, but also provided a much-needed financial boost. As Moore's modeling career took off, he began promoting not just knitwear but a wide range of personal and household products, from Brill Cream, the popular hair product, to featuring on the packaging of McLean's toothpaste. Moore's face became synonymous with style and good looks. The sheer number of fashion catalogs and knitwear pattern covers featuring Moore in the early 1950s earned him a curious nickname from locals: the Big Knit. This nickname reflected both his involvement in the knitting industry and his striking presence in the modeling world. In 1954, Roger Moore reached a major milestone in his acting career when he signed a coveted 7-year contract with the prestigious Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Studios. This was an exciting opportunity, as the studio was known for its glamorous productions and talented roster of actors. However, Moore soon discovered that landing significant roles in the competitive world of Hollywood was no easy task. Despite the huge potential of his MGM contract, Moore struggled to get meaningful roles that showcased his talent and captivated audiences. Instead, he found himself in films that unfortunately failed to make an impact at the box office. Movies like The Last Time I Saw Paris, 1954, Interrupted Melody, 1955, The King's Thief, 1955, and Diane, 1956, were met with disappointing financial results, leaving Moore frustrated and disheartened. It was during these challenging times that Moore famously remarked that, at Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, Roger George Moore wasn't worth a damn. This candid statement reflected his own assessment of the situation. Despite his undeniable talent and dedication, Moore felt his potential wasn't fully realized at MGM. Just 2 years into his 7-year contract, the studio made the difficult decision to release Moore. While this was undoubtedly a setback in his career, the event ultimately opened the door for Moore to explore other opportunities, ones that would eventually lead to iconic roles and global recognition. Rise to television fame. After being released from his MGM contract, Roger Moore didn't give up. Instead, he turned to television, a medium that was just beginning to find its place in households around the world. It turned out to be a wise decision. In 1958, he landed the lead role in the TV series Ivanhoe, portraying the noble knight from English folklore. With his commanding presence and polished accent, Moore was the perfect fit for the role. The series was a success, and Moore finally began gaining recognition for his acting talent. Following Ivanhoe, Moore continued to thrive on television. In 1959, he starred in The Alaskans, followed by Maverick in 1960, where he played Beau Maverick, cousin of James Garner's character. Although the series didn't give him the fame he longed for, Moore was gaining experience, refining his screen presence, and growing more comfortable in front of the camera. It was in the 1960s that Moore finally found his big break, starring as Simon Templar in The Saint, a television series based on the novels by Leslie Charteris. The show ran from 1962 to 1969 and was a huge international success. Moore's portrayal of the suave, sophisticated, and witty gentleman thief cemented his status as a leading man. His smooth delivery, impeccable style, and wry humor made Simon Templar a fan favorite. The Saint wasn't just a success for audiences, it was also a turning point for Moore professionally. He wasn't just the star of the show, he also directed several episodes, which helped him hone his skills behind the camera. For the first time, Moore was in control of both his image and his career path. From Saint to Spy. By the early 1970s, Moore was a well-established figure on television, but he was still looking for that one iconic role to define his career. That opportunity came in 1973, when Sean Connery decided to step down as James Bond. After Connery's initial departure in 1967 and George Lazenby's brief appearance in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, 1969, Connery had returned once again for Diamonds Are Forever, 1971, but made it clear he would not continue. The search for the next Bond was on. Moore, with his suave image, international appeal, and proven talent, was a natural candidate. In Live and Let Die, 1973, Moore stepped into the shoes of 007 and brought a very different style to the role. While Sean Connery's Bond was gritty, tough, and intimidating, Moore brought a lighter, more humorous touch. His Bond was witty, charming, and cool under pressure. Some fans found the change jarring, but many others welcomed the fresh interpretation. Over time, Moore won over even the staunchest critics. He would go on to play Bond in a total of 7 films. Live and Let Die, 1973. The Man with the Golden Gun, 1974. The Spy Who Loved Me, 1977. Moonraker, 1979. For Your Eyes Only, 1981. Octopussy, 1983. A View to a Kill, 1985. Each film showcased Moore's unique take on the iconic character. His witty one-liners, raised eyebrow, and impeccable sense of timing became trademarks of the Moore-era Bond. While critics often debated who was the best Bond, there was no denying Moore's contribution to the franchise's global success. In fact, Roger Moore still holds the record for the longest uninterrupted run as James Bond, portraying the character over 12 years. He became a symbol of British coolness and sophistication, with his Bond films introducing millions to exotic locales, futuristic gadgets, and glamorous lifestyles. Off the screen, while Roger Moore's on-screen persona was all about charm and elegance, his personal life was filled with ups and downs. He was married 4 times. His third marriage, to Italian actress Luisa Mattioli, lasted the longest, from 1969 until 1996. Together, they had 3 children, Deborah, Jeffrey, and Christian. Moore's daughter Deborah followed in her father's footsteps and became an actress. Over the years, she spoke lovingly about her father's kindness, humility, and sense of humor. Despite his fame, she described Moore as down-to-earth and deeply devoted to his family. However, Moore's personal life was not without turbulence. His marriages were often strained, and he faced several health scares, including a bout with prostate cancer in the 1990s. But instead of retreating from the public eye, Moore used his experience to raise awareness about cancer and the importance of early detection. A legacy beyond Bond. As Moore aged, he gradually stepped back from acting, appearing in only a handful of films and television shows in the late 1980s and 1990s. But his true passion during this period became humanitarian work. In 1991, Roger Moore was appointed a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador. Inspired by his friend Audrey Hepburn, he dedicated his life to helping underprivileged children around the world. He visited countries affected by war, famine, and disease, and advocated tirelessly for child welfare. Moore's contributions were so impactful that in 2003, he was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II for his services to charity. Sir Roger Moore, as he was now known, never let fame get to his head. He was respected not just for his film roles, but also for his commitment to making the world a better place. In interviews, he often said that he considered his work with UNICEF far more important than his acting career. Final Days and Daughters Revelation. Roger Moore passed away on May 23, 2017, in Switzerland, at the age of 89, after a brief battle with cancer. The news was met with tributes from around the world. Fans, co-stars, and world leaders remembered Moore not only as James Bond, but as a gentleman, a humanitarian, and a loving father. It was shortly after his passing that Deborah Moore gave an emotional interview, where she revealed something many had suspected but few had truly understood. Behind the charming public image, Roger Moore was a deeply humble, generous, and kind-hearted man who rarely took credit for his good deeds. Deborah shared that her father often donated anonymously to causes he cared about and helped struggling actors financially without ever asking for recognition. She said he believed true generosity required no audience. She also shared that he had struggled with imposter syndrome for much of his career, never fully believing he deserved the praise he received. He always said he was just lucky, she said, but we knew better. He made his own luck through hard work, compassion, and grace. Conclusion. Roger Moore's legacy goes far beyond James Bond. Though he will always be remembered for the tuxedo, the martini, and the suave spy persona, his true impact lies in the lives he touched, the causes he championed, and the integrity with which he lived. As his daughter Deborah confirmed, the world may have admired Roger Moore for his roles, but those closest to him cherished him for who he truly was.